How we doing, everybody? Can you hear me? We're going to start off there as we always do. Can you hear me? Because if I'm talking and you can't hear me, then it is worthless. So somebody in the chat, please let me know if you have sound on me. I'll wait. Yes, John M. has just sounded and said, yes, we have sound. Okay, so let's get going. I kind of have my own set of traditions here, even though this is only the second time I'm doing this. We'll pour a Red Bull. Give me a second. All righty. So let's see. Starting off, Mr. George Lopez asked me a question. This was before I even went live. He said, hey, on fall break, I'm thinking about going to Whistler Bike Park just for the fun of it. I still need to ask my parents first. Have you been there? No, I have not been there, but I did go to a bike park recently, and it was Canoga Bike Park in North Carolina. And, man, let me tell you something about bike parks. You'll see them all the time on YouTube, and you'll think, oh, yeah, I got that. That's fine. I can ride this. It's not a problem. But it's so different in person. So, like, Tortuga is a run at Canoga. It's a jump line. It's considered blue rated. The jumps were absolutely massive in person. And I know that Whistler actually looks massive on YouTube. So I can only imagine what it looks like in person. So make sure you have your big boy britches on. And as far as bringing your Vander, I would recommend that you consider renting a bike. That's just my 2 cents there. Just because, like, there's a lot of unknowns, especially when you're venturing into the deep of new trails that you may not have seen before. It's better to wreck someone else's bike than yours. That's just how I feel about that. Cobra Kyle says, sounds fantastic. Thank you, sir. Nice to see you. Cameron, I'm assuming that you're referring to my Red Bull with the glug glug. So, yeah, one of the reasons why I decided to have a live stream tonight is before I decided to become a YouTuber full time and kind of, just become one of those mountain biking bros. I used to have a full-time job myself, and Sundays were filled with the Sunday Scaries, where all I could think about was the job that I was about to go back to on Monday. And it almost ruined my Sunday. You get 2 days out of the weekend, but it really only felt like one day because Sunday was just filled with dread. So hopefully by us having this little weekend wind down, we can kind of chill together, throw back something, whatever it might be. For me, it's Red Bull. I don't know what you're drinking. If it's an adult drink, that doesn't matter. But yeah, we are here to chill. Like I mentioned earlier, we may bring on some guests. One of which is actually in the group chat right now. But please, if you have questions, go for it. I'm here to talk with you. I want to make sure that each of my viewers has a chance to be heard. Any suggestions for a low-cost dropper? So P&W kind of has that market on lock right now. I can't remember exactly what model it is, but I think it's about $125. Maybe it's the Rainier. Somebody could... tune in on that, chime in, let me know what the name is. I think it's the Rainier. I'm not 100% sure, but P&W is the way to go with that. I recently got the one-up dropper, which isn't necessarily the low-cost option, but it's not a high-cost option either. It's like right at $200. And what I really like about one-up is that it has a really low insertion depth, so you won't have issues with it not being able to go all the way into the bike. And they also offer some really long droppers. I'm rocking a 210 millimeter right now, which is just mental. And it's a great, great dropper. Loft says, this is how I feel about Monday. You know what that means, Loft? This live stream is for you. Because like I said, I would have loved something like this to cap off my weekend when I was miserable working a 9 to 5. So hopefully this helps you out. Thank you for coming in. It means a lot. I feel you. I've been here in Houston for only a couple days, and my project lead is kind of insane. Not looking forward to starting a new. Hopefully your project lead isn't in the live stream. Let's just say that. Hopefully he's not a mountain biker, but you never know. So while we wait for more questions to roll in, I'll just tell you all about my weekend because why not? I've visited my trails here in Louisiana at the Bogachitos State Park. First couple minutes out, I decided, hey, I'm just going to get warmed up. I'm going to hit some features and some jump lines, that sort of thing. And one of my buddies, Zach, said, hey, brother, if you better put your camera on, because if you don't, that's when you're going to crash. I was like, nah, I'll be fine. Lo and behold, I did crash because I didn't have my camera on a jump line that I normally have no issues on whatsoever. But it seems to be kind of a blessing and a curse, because after I crashed last October in Austin, Texas, I had an issue where the left side of my neck got super tight. Well, I crashed on the other side yesterday, and now that neck tension is suddenly gone. So let's hope it sticks. Maybe I healed myself by beating up the other side of my body. I have not a clue. Let's see. I'm not going to be going to do the big jumps right off the bat. I'm going to do the smallest ones and work my way up. Yeah, that's the way to do it at the bike parks. But keep in mind, even the trails that may look mellow on the videos may still be pretty nutty. That kind of goes back to what I was saying. Tortuga was a blue rated jump line at the Canoga Bike Park, and I thought for sure I had it in the bag. And then when you get there, it's like, wow, these lips are like 15 to 20 feet. Or at least that's what it looked like in my head. I really don't know. But they were big, dude. So, but you're right. Take your time. Start off with the greens. Don't go straight down A line. Start with whatever their green is. Then I think crank it up as their blue jump, something like that. So, yeah, take your time. You'll be fine. What does your schedule kind of look like as a YouTuber? That's a great question. So some people who are YouTubers are very structured and methodical in what they do. For instance, I know for a fact, Seth, aka Mr. Burn Peak, he is extremely methodical. He has like an email day, a filming day, an editing day, that sort of thing. I'm a little bit more flexible. So what's most important to me is that I can present a topic to you guys in a video about something that I'm passionate about, something that I care to make a video about. So that comes first. And assuming that I have that, topics rolling in, I will go ahead and try to get those together every Wednesday. Sometimes it doesn't work out that way, so I have to fill the gap with these live streams or maybe a couple shorts. So it's very flexible, which is good for me because I don't necessarily like adhering to a ton of structure. I get bored with it. So as for me, being a YouTuber is nice because it's less structured. You have a little bit more freedom to do what you want. Thank you. Yes. So I'm using the same mirrorless I film videos with as a webcam, and that's why it looks really nice. What would you say are the best first upgrades for a mountain bike? So that's going to depend on what mountain bike you're riding, Lucas. Assuming, since you're asking about dropper posts, I'm assuming that means that your bike is not equipped with one. And with that being said, that would probably be the best first upgrade for your mountain bike. But for other ones, say my T7, for example, they're pretty bomb right out of the box. So it really just depends on what what your preferences lie in. So some people who buy the T7 will do the wheels first. Some will do the fork first. There's a lot of subjectivism there. So if you want to be more specific with your question, I will try to answer. How do I convince my parents to let me post videos on YouTube? Any advice on starting out? So convincing your parents, that's kind of that's a tough question for me to answer because I didn't start YouTubing till I was 29, 30. So I don't know. No, I think it was 29 because I started right before my 30th birthday. My first video, I was 29. So my parents didn't really care. But as far as starting out, that's something I can give you advice on. My best advice is just start. I see a lot of people like, oh, I can't start doing YouTube because I don't have the best camera or I don't have the best plan. It doesn't matter. You figure it out as you go. My first 2 videos for YouTube were all done on my iPhone, start to finish, film, edit, post, all of it. So just start and you'll be surprised at how far you go in like a year. On the video, you upgraded the D5. You went with an Advent microshift derailleur and dropped to a 1x9. Is it necessary to switch to 1x9 when getting that derailleur? Or you can keep it 2x9. The reason why I went 1x9 was because I wanted to open up the left side of the cockpit for the dropper post, simplify it up front on the bars. But you can keep it 2x9 for sure. Any suggestions for an air fork that is budget friendly? Love your channel. Thank you, first of all, for the love and support. Air fork budget friendly. There's quite a few out there. Honestly, the best bang for the buck deal, this is kind of out of left field. I'm a big eBay surfer. If you check eBay, a lot of times brand new older stock X Fusion Slide 34 forks and brand new Suntour Ion forks. Those are 35 mil stanchion forks pop up. And those are both fantastic forks. And you can get those, like I said, brand new for like $300. They're normally like $650. So I do a lot of eBay surfing when it comes to bang for the buck forks. My bike is the Vander T7. Very familiar with it. Good bike. Let's see. Trails with Tyler asks, hello, I just lengthened my brake cable mechanical on my DJ bike to wrap it around the stem to do bar spins and tail whips. You are a crazy boy, assuming you're doing bar spins and tail whips. Now when I spin the bars, the brakes get pulled. How do I fix this? I'm trying to think about that in my head. So you're saying that when you spin your bars, the brakes getting locked up? I'm assuming that's what you mean, in which case somewhere along the line there's just getting tension on the brake cable. I would check your barrel adjusters, maybe reduce some of that tension, and maybe that would alleviate it. If not, another way to tackle it would be to eventually just put a hydraulic on that bad boy. I have an idea for your next live stream. I think you should do a trivia quiz, like ask the questions and the viewers answer. I could. That takes a lot more planning. So one of the things I really like about live streams is it's kind of like you just wing it. I have zero plan. I just walk into it and we rock and roll for an hour. But maybe one day I will do something super fancy like that. Victor has some sense to give Mr. Riley. I'd make the videos anyway, but don't upload them right away. Show them to your parents and ask if they want to create an account manager for you. There you go. That's a good idea. That's a really good idea. Make videos. And get their input on it, you know, maybe they'll be down for it. And then another thing you can do is maybe show them how much money and success people are having on YouTube. Say, hey, look, Mom, I can be like Mr. Beast and make $1 billion. Don't you want me to make $1 billion? Let's see. Chain Reaction Cycles did a great let's see. Oh, okay. That's in response to the forks. Boom. Okay, everyone's just saying, yep, nice. Yeah, can't really respond much to that. But if you'll have some questions, keep them coming. Keep them coming. I'm here for an hour. We're at 12 minutes and 34 seconds. Anybody? Okay, well, I'll just start talking about some other things while I wait. My wife got a D7. Just recently, so we are all part of the Polygon crew. Soon I will release a video kind of showcasing her new bike. She's really proud of it. Eugene, always giving me the stock updates, man. I love it. A few hours ago, Mythiques were in stock. They probably sold out in 5 minutes. Those things are hot. How many bikes do I have at the moment? I actually have 2 if you count bikes that I'm riding. 3 if you count the Seth hardtail from Berm Peak, but that's more like just a crown jewel that sits in the house. I have my T7 and my Marin Kenfield. Have you found a suitable dropper for the Vander T7? I'll have to look into that. I can try to help y'all out on that one. Christine, my wife. Hello, wifey. It's wonderful to see you here. What's your favorite color? Shouldn't you know that? We're married. I think you should know that. On a run right now, just jumping in to say, hey, what's up, dude? Are you doing your 100-mile run? Is that what's happening tonight? So Red is a patron of the channel. He's got some plans to start a channel of his own, so we'll see how he does. Said he was going to start trying to do some crazy long runs and stuff to prepare for like triathlon, so that's really cool. Is it me or does Trek get a bad rap online? Yeah, they do. Pretty often, honestly, and the reason is because they tend to charge a lot more dollar for dollar for the spec that you get. But you know, with a bike brand that you buy through a shop, you get a lot of customer support, so you're paying for that as well. But people like to ignore that aspect. How do you feel about the Trek Marlin 6? It's a good bike. Okay, people will give that one some hate sometimes because, you know, for that price, you technically can get a bike with a tapered head tube. But the Marlin 6 has a lot of potential. I modify them all the time for customers. They're very popular, and they're popular for a reason. So I hope your brother enjoys it. You like how my messages pop up? Yeah, I'm doing that myself. This hand here is clicking on these message by message so you can know what I'm talking about. There you go. Eugene's telling you. Eugene's keeping you updated. Now, Eugene, you'll have to let them know if they're in stock. You probably know if they're in stock. Let's see. Spoiler alert, he doesn't have a favorite color. See, I told you you knew. I don't know why you asked that. I guess you're just trying to fill the chat up. I appreciate it, babe. Thanks for the support. Trying to make it look like this isn't the most lonely live stream on the earth. Let's see. I have a Marlin 7, and I like it a lot. It's definitely more capable than I am. Yeah, see, the Marlin is a solid bike, and there's a lot of room to upgrade it. Big Timber Films, what's up, dude? This man was actually around for my crash in last October in Austin, Texas. He heard me wail and scream like a slaughtered goat. It was awful. But he was there, first person to run up to me, make sure that I was breathing and I wasn't dying. So this is a great guy. Y'all make sure to follow him. He makes a lot of good videos, a lot of good music. Solid dude. Nice to see you, John. Da-da-da. How can Polygon make such affordable bikes? Where are they from? Do they design their own bikes? Okay, so now you're asking some questions that I don't know. They're made out in Indonesia, I believe. I think that's where they're designed. How they make them affordable? I think they just buy a lot of the componentry in bulk. Sometimes the componentry is a little bit of a mishmash. Like, for instance, a D7 comes with a non-boost fork. Little things like that can really cut the price. So, you know, that trail bike is perfectly capable at $1,700, but the front fork is non-boost. So little things like that will make it be a little less expensive. Plus, I think the tires weren't tubeless ready. I actually had to swap the tires to convert Christine's new bike tubeless. So again, it's little things like that that can cut the price down to give you a lot of bang for the buck. What's your other hand doing? You nasty. It's serving my face Red Bull. You're terrible. 2022 Siskiyou D7 is out in Malaysia. When will we see it in the States? That's a great question. I don't have any insight on that. There's a lot of like logistic stuff that have to be solved, like embargoes and stuff like that. It's going to be soon. It's going to be soon. So yes, we are well aware that the 2022 D7 and D5 exists, but it's not going to be here in the States just yet. Wife's a keeper. Yes, she is. She's really cool. We were just riding on Saturday. Again, she was test riding her new D7, learning a lot about it. It's her first 29er, so it was a bit of a shock, but I think she's going to learn to love it. Marlin 7 has a tapered or straight. It's straight as far as I know, my man. I don't think they've stepped up to the tapered head tube yet on the Marlin series. Your favorite slaughtered goat recipe? Can't help you there, but we can talk about Slaughter Pen in Bentonville. That's something I'm more versed on. Many thanks. Yes, John, you're welcome, my man. Also, Polygon bikes have one color and only small, medium, and large. That could also be the case. That is true. Good point. Another reason why Polygon can keep costs down is because they don't offer extra small and, you know, boutique sizing like that. And I don't think that they adjust like their chainstay and seat stay lengths for frame sizes and stuff like that. They kind of keep it a little bit more simple. Red Bull from a mug. Yes, of course, because A, I'm a friend of Red Bull, and B, look at this mug. It won't focus, but this is the Christmas sleigh ride mug, and it is fire. Michael Jackson. I'm just going to call you Michael Jackson. I'll leave out the rest of your name. Hello there. It is a pleasure to see you. Love the mug. Thank you. I will probably make the mugs available again during the holiday time, just in case anybody decides they want to get in on that. But I think I need to make a regular mug too soon, just in case y'all want to sip coffee and represent your absolute favorite YouTube channel. But in case y'all were wondering about what's coming down the pipeline, again, it's going to be a D7 video for Christine. Yeah, we didn't have to do much of that bike at all. I really just converted it to tubeless, threw on tubeless valves, that kind of thing, and then put all of her custom bits from her last bike that she adored to make it unique. Do you ship your merch to Australia? So on the merch store, it's through Teespring, which is now just Spring. If you go to cure-cycling.com, you'll see a link in there to my merch store. I believe quite a few of the offerings are worldwide. Not all of them, though. There are certain items that they'll only ship in the U.S., but some of them are worldwide. So, yeah, you should be able to get some merch. If you did, that'd be really cool. You'll be really cool. What is your favorite big bike brand? Trek, Specialized? It's going to be Specialized. The reason being is because they kind of take being at the forefront of mountain biking very seriously. If you've noticed with bikes like the Stumpy Evo and stuff like that, they have really progressive geometry, and I like that. You know, brands like Trek and Giant, they kind of just lag behind, see what everyone else is doing, and then eventually update as they need to. They ride on their name a little bit longer. What's up, Dan? How are you, buddy? Are you traveling? Are you home? Hope you're doing well. Do you create your own channel art, merch design, etc. yourself? So it's kind of a mixture. The very first logo was 100% by me, the one that said Cure Cycling Service, and then over time I got with a graphics designer who helped me clean it up. And he also did some shirt designs, like the one I'm wearing tonight, the Love Your Local Trails t-shirt. He designed that through and through. I didn't touch it. But now that I'm, spending more time playing with stuff like Photoshop, I'm starting to do my own designs. So the most recent design on my merch store, 100% me. But it was still using some implements that my graphics designer, Nick Miner, put together. Oh, you're including Santa Cruz? Oh, well, shoot. Santa Cruz. Yeah. Like one of the bikes that I just really love right now, and I can't get over it, is the Santa Cruz Bullet. I would love to have that bike in that wacky lavender color. Yes, it's an e-bike. I want an e-bike. I know there's some anti-e-bikers out there, but I am not one. I am down for the e-bikes. New job. I'm home. I work 12 days straight. Just finished day 7. Good luck, dude. Good luck, man. It's been so long since I've had to work 12 in a row. That was when I worked at my last job, and boy, I don't miss it. Good luck, man. Like Diamondback, who's insanely overpriced. Yeah, we had a discussion about that one. That's fine. That's fine. It's fine to listen. Whatever you choose. It's great when y'all are in here making comments and asking questions, but it's fine if you just want to listen. Oh, man. Look at this guy. Z is in the house. Okay, yeah. So Z is the fellow who owned the Occam and the Rayon that have both been on my channel. He's been a supporter of the channel for a while. And, yeah, he's pretty good at riding bikes. Let's see. What is your overall opinion on the Polygon D5? I'm thinking of getting it. Well, a lot of people throw shade at the Polygon D5. They're like, oh, you should just save up and get the D7. But the thing is I understand that there's a market for, less costly mountain bikes. Maybe your budget is right at $1,000, or maybe you're just not willing to dedicate more of your hard-earned cash to the sport yet because you may not know if you're into it. The D5 is a great bike to start off with, and there's plenty of room to modify it. I've done videos on that, so I'm not going to hate on the D5. It's definitely a capable bike to start off on, and with a few key mods, it can really be pretty solid. I had a lot of fun on it after I put about $500 into the bike. I found that it was able to keep up with, most bikes for the most part. So it's a good bike. It's a good bike to start on. What kind of helmets do you use? I've got 2 helmets right now. Right now, my most popular helmet, the one I use the most, is my Smith. I think it's a Convoy. It's like $70. It's got MIPS. Great helmet. Really light, really good at cooling me off. It's got a lot of ventilation, so that's been the best one I've had. Awesome machine I've had in a month, and I love it. See, there you go. D5 rider right here. He can tell you it's a solid bike. It's great for upgrading. Eugene's going off on Diamondback tonight. Somebody slow this man down. What do you do for a job other than YouTube? Nothing. Nothing at the moment. My wife is a champ. Right now, she's kind of the breadwinner while we get this thing on the road. But yeah, no, that's it. I'm really just working on YouTube. Is the Polygon T7 good? I might be biased because I own one, but yes, it's awesome. Really solid out of the box. D5 review and unboxing is most popular video. Yes, I know. Nothing. And what's so funny is the video is so old. You know, it's like it's not even that special. I've gotten so much better in my productions, but for some reason, that's still the one. People love it. Will you be doing an update on Zs Rallon? Hey, you know, it depends. Are you gonna hand it to me, or you gonna let me borrow it for a day or two? I'd like to review it. It's a cool bike. Smash that like button. Let's go, says John. Hey, yeah, we've got 16 people in here, so I'm hoping to see 16 thumbs up. Can you do that for me, please? I don't think you can really go wrong with any bike nowadays. Yeah, I actually had this conversation with my father-in-law. He was asking, what makes Polygon different than all the others? I was like, to be honest, everybody kind of adheres to the same recipe right now. We're doing slack head tubes, steep seat tubes, pretty long wheelbases, 29s is kind of the thing. They kind of all adhere to similar plans with, you know, little differences here and there, like different leverage curves on the rear suspension, stuff like that. John says, when are you headed back to Texas? Soon, man. I've been thinking about it because I've got buddies out there. Dynamite Danny, who I was just chatting with, is out there. Cobra Kyle is out there. Got a lot of friends in Texas, including yourself. So I need to come back. We got a session something. I've never seen Reveille. It'd be cool to like hit that with all of you guys if we can. Mark Rober has over 100 million views on a watermelon video. Nice. I wish I could make a video about a watermelon and get 100 million views. Maybe one day. Opinion on mullet. I'm down for the mullet. As I've discussed with Cobra Kyle on one of his streams, mullet seems to be what they're doing to all the 27.5 bikes to slowly phase 27.5 out of the picture. I think the idea of mullet's fun, though. I'd ride a mullet bike. The Bullet, the one I mentioned earlier by Santa Cruz, is mullet, so I'm down for it. I got room for you when you come down. Perfect. Do you have room for Christine as well? She likes to ride bikes too. If that's in the picture, then you got yourself a deal. Yep, correct. Direct to consumer also saves money. So we're at 27 minutes and 19 seconds here. Soon I'm going to let guests in. I've sent the link already to the guests who were invited. Hopefully they come in the queue soon. But until then, I'll continue to answer any questions that you have. Oh, boy. But yes, anyway, what else can we talk about here while I wait for my guests to arrive into the stream? We can touch base on the Polygon P7. I want to remind everybody that that is going to be given away to a patron of the channel. So if you were considering doing that without knowing that, this is a good reason to possibly join the Patreon movement for the Cure community. You could possibly win Seth's P7 for yourself. It might be too small for you, but you can just hang it on your wall. Let's see. All right. Can you fit a tube? Yes, of course. Yeah, little things like that, not a problem. Camera gear. Okay, cool. GoPro Hero 8 Black is what I'm using. Great action cam. Haven't had a need to upgrade it. I'm using a Canon M50 for the mirrorless. That is the camera that's running right now. Everyone's asking about the camera gear. As far as what I'm planning to get, I'm going to get a gimbal for the mirrorless. I'd like to get a drone, possibly a 360 cam. You'll see in this Pisgah video that I'm about to release, I did a little 360 cam action with my friend's GoPro 360. And just some of those shots that thing can get is just incredible. Looked so sick. All right, I'm about to throw on some headphones here because I have a guest ready to be added to the stream. Let me answer a few more questions before we do that. How do you get your confidence back after falling? Well, I fall a lot. So the way that I do it is I just keep riding. Eventually the memories and the pain fades and you just you get back in the game. Yes, ribs twice in 2020. Once in the beginning of the year, once towards the end of the year. Can I put? Yes, you can do that. I've done it. I don't think it's recommended, but I do it. When unboxing a bike box, is it packed well? I'm not really sure what you're asking me. I guess it depends on the bike box. Some of them are packed well. Some of them aren't. All right. Well, I am going to let our guest into the stream here. He's smiling. He seems to be excited. Hello, Cobra.
Hey, man. How's it going?
Dude, going well. So I guess as questions continue to pop up, I'll queue them up onto the screen and we can go ahead and answer. If you have a specific question for Cobra Kyle, please feel free to specify. If it's a question for me, you can specify that as well, or if it's a question in general. But for now, I'm going to catch up with Cobra Kyle. So, Kyle, I know that you have a large stash of bikes going on over there. Have you put much thought into which one is the best?
Dang. Not really. There's I don't know. I really like this Rocky Mountain Growler I just got.
Really? So I thought for sure you'd be answering me with the Elroy.
No. I have a lot of thoughts about that bike. It's great. I like it, but it's just I'm learning more about myself that I don't particularly love the long, low slack.
Yeah, so I'm kind of with you on that. I've kind of learned myself that my happy place as far as head tube angles is somewhere between 65.5 and 66.5. I don't need all that slack stuff.
It's great at one thing, and that's going downhill fast. And living in Texas, we don't have a ton of elevation, so just pedaling it around on a trail, it's kind of like
wonky.
I don't need this. This is too much, but I love the bike. It's great.
Christine asked, "What is your white whale trail?" I guess we can both answer. What about you, Kyle? You ever thought about that?
Like one I've already hit, or one I.
I would assume that white whale means you haven't ridden it, but you really wanna.
I guess pretty much anything at Whistler would be on there. Just I haven't been there, so.
Yeah, I agree. Whistler would be a good white whale. Another one that's more realistic is I really wanted to ride Shock and Awe at the Huntley Gravity Zone in Bentonville, but it rained out, so that kind of was a bummer.
I didn't make it there.
Yeah, I mean, it's been open for a little bit, supposedly pretty solid.
Yeah, I heard a lot of good things about it.
You got a specific hello from Mr. Lopez.
Hey there, Mr. Lopez.
Danny says the Elroy with the new tires is pretty legit. Tell me about these tires.
Spoiler alert. No, it's not really. But I have a
Well,
XC.
if you can't reveal it, don't.
No, I can. No one cares. I have a XC. I have an XC wheel set that I bought like 6 months ago. I haven't even used yet. I decided just to throw them on the Elroy with like XC tire in the back and like a trail tire in the front. It saved like 3.5 pounds.
Woo! Is that another Hunt wheel set?
Yeah, it's the Hunt XC wide, and it feels like a completely different bike. Like it feels like a normal trail bike with a downhill bike head tube angle, and it changed my opinion on it quite a bit. Now the Elroy started off as a 27.5 plus. You switched it to 29. No, it came 29. It's a 29 only. Oh, really? For some reason, I thought it was a 27.5 plus. No, that's the San Quentin, I guess. It has like 2.6 width, so kind of. Hello, Andrew. How are you? If you have any questions, please send it in. Send it in. We're here to appease you guys. Look at Andrew doing a hand plant. Is that what's going on? Oh, yeah. I wonder if that's him, or is that a Red Bull helmet there? He might be using someone else as his avatar. I must know. Yeah, reveal yourself. So, do you got any other plans coming up for any other bikes that are supposedly coming in for you? No, not at the moment. I realized I'm going to stop asking for review bikes in the summer because it's unbearably hot out. Yeah. So it's not kind of hard to go film in the heat. I went yesterday and was just like dying all day. So yeah, we were having a really hard time too yesterday. We went to ride for a little bit. And I think we were out there for maybe 5 hours, but probably only 2 hours of it was actually moving time. The rest was kind of like sitting, panting, sweating, drinking water. Yeah, for sure. It's not fun. I'm ready for winter. No, I totally agree. I'm hoping to get my hands on an e-bike soon. So I've been trying to work with brands to see if somebody will appease me. Interesting. Yeah, I really want one. The Mount Bromo? I wish. Yeah. I wish. I've already pitched that idea. Yeah, I would rock that N8 any day of the week. I think sweet. Yeah, just stock. I mean, it's super, super solid. Oh yeah.
Danny says he's got to mow, but he'll be listening. That's good, man. You take care of that grass. That grass
So
won't mow itself.
Dan.
He really is.
Yeah.
It's Brandon Semenuk.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was watching a clip of Brandon Semenuk yesterday. He was sending it. That dude can get some serious air.
That's what he's paid to do.
Let's see. So we'll go through some of the other questions that came through. I want to get your opinion on some of them. So, earlier, someone asked about mullet. I don't think I've ever asked your opinion on mullet. How do you feel about mullet, Mr. Cobra Kyle?
It's cool. It's fine. I tried it on my old hardtail, and it wasn't like a life-changing experience where I was like, oh yeah, everyone should do mullet. It was cool. But other than that, I don't have a strong opinion about it. I think with my salsa, I'm going to try it because it can run both and see if my opinion has changed as a better rider.
Yeah, I can't remember who it was. I want to say it was Pink Bike. They did a pretty thorough, in-depth review of like if mullet is a hype or if it's legit. Was it them? Do you remember?
I have seen a video like that. I don't remember.
Yeah, I mean they went through and like timed it and everything, and it was like a difference of like a second. So it was not even a second. So it really didn't do anything.
I actually made that video, Jared.
You made one too?
Yeah, at Spider Mountain, actually. I did 4 different wheel setups, and it was a pain.
Where was I for this one? Was this a long time ago?
It's like probably 2 years ago. But I even did like reverse mullet and like 227s, 229s, and then regular mullet just to see which one was faster.
Yeah. No, I missed that video, man. I'll have to go back and watch that.
The results may shock you.
Wow, I'm sold. I'm gonna go see it.
Be sure to watch that, everyone.
Heather says, hey, I'm sorry I'm late. Hey, that's okay. Thank you for coming. Really cool to have another guest here in the party. Ever try an oval chain ring? I've been considering getting one. So yes, personally, I have. I put one. I was on my Niner, Rip 9. I put a 32 tooth oval on it. And because it was oval shaped, it started taking bites out of the carbon, and I took it off and I returned it, and I never rode another one. So my experience wasn't very good. But Cobra, how about you? You've ever run oval?
Yeah, I have like 5 of them on 5 bikes. I love them.
Why is that?
I think they definitely help a little bit on, especially climbing. At first, it feels a little bit awkward, but personally, I realized like, hey, this actually kind of feels smoother getting up climbs. And I've had a few. I think even Dan got one recently, and he said like, oh, this is cool. But I haven't had any issues with it hitting the frame, like you said. But
yeah, I think I was just unlucky. The way that the rear end of that Niner was shaped, I should have downsized when going oval, like went to a 30, but I didn't. And
oh, so you went from 32 round to 32 oval?
Correct. And
okay. That's the issue, because it's technically a 34 at the big part, and then a 30 at the smaller. So yeah, I always size one down. Yeah, and that should clear it.
Well, now I know. So next time I give it a shot, maybe that won't be an issue.
You'll love it.
I believe most downhill bikes have 29s now. Maybe I'm wrong. Why did they switch from 26? No, you're right. Most downhill bikes right now are either 29 or 29 27.5 mullet. 26 just died. And I think 27.5 is next on the chopping block. And I'm not sure why that is. I guess it's just like incremental data. I don't know. Maybe Cobra has some different opinions on that. I don't really know for sure.
Nah, I've been thinking the same thing for the last year or two, because I started on 27.5, and like 4 years ago there's just a ton of options, and now there's a handful.
Yeah,
so
like we said. Good. No, it's not. Yeah, like we were saying, most of the 27.5 dedicated bikes, like give me a few. The Reckoning. I'm kind of having a brain fart here. There's quite a few.
The Patrol, like the Capra is now 29 or mullet only.
Yeah, exactly. It's just the way they've been going. And really the only 27.5 dedicated bikes that are still in existence are kind of those weird niche play bikes like the Santa Cruz 5010. So it's just the way of it. Danny says oval for life. So we have a believer.
That's right.
If Danny wasn't mowing the lawn, I'd let him come in the stream real quick, and maybe he could tell us why they're so awesome as well.
He should come on the stream while mowing the lawn.
Oh, that would be great. That would be great it'd be great for the audio. People would love the sound of that.
Absolutely.
I like 27.5 more than 29, but I don't get why it's not as popular. So generally speaking, 27.5, the idea is that it's supposed to be more agile, more playful. And then 29 is better, has a better attack angle, holds momentum better. And I like the idea of playful, and that's why I was so hardcore 27.5. But then I started riding 29ers. I was like, wait a second, these bikes are still playful. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the issue there. The 29s, the way that they're kind of like setting up the geometry of these bikes now, it really doesn't matter. They're still poppy, playful, fun. Lawnmower battery was dead. Oh, you're back. Should I send you the link? Do you want to come on and talk about bikes and stuff? Let me know.
Do you have any other special guests lined up?
I sent the link out to a few other folks, but whether or not they'll be receptive is unknown. Okay. I do have another special guest for a future one that is lined up, but he's not ready yet.
Okay.
Yeah, so there will be other guests here on Cure Cycling.
I will tune back in.
Oh yeah, you have to. That's your responsibility. Silly thought. Will we see bigger wheels in 29 in the future? After all, that's the trend. I mean, dude, that's honestly a possibility. I know that 36-inch wheels exist, but that's kind of like just like kind of a joke. Not really a joke. They make them for like extra large human beings. Mm-hmm. They're very boutique, but I don't know. It's a possibility. I want to say I might have even seen like 30s or 31s. Hopefully not. I think 29's perfect, but the reason why I wouldn't want to go bigger is because as you make the circle larger, it's more likely to get whopped out of true. Mm-hmm. So earlier in the chat, yeah, there are 36s already. That's correct. Earlier in the chat, people were asking about camera gear. We actually had a few people chime in and talk about camera gear. I mentioned the cameras that I'm using. Cobra, what cameras are you using? What input can you give the folks who are asking about camera gear?
I can just show you. It's right
here.
Whoa. So this is a Panasonic G7 4K like mirrorless camera. It's pretty cool. So this is like what I do all my third-person shots on, and then a GoPro 8.
Yep.
And actually, I've been using that more and more for third-person shots because I don't love carrying that camera around. So, yeah, me and Dan ride together a lot, and he's very helpful when it comes to filming. He will help film, so I just hand him a GoPro on a stick.
Yeah.
And it's very easy for anyone to like film it,
Yeah, and there's one caveat I wanted to add because I saw it on your cameras. There's a lot of little bits that you buy for your cameras that will make your production a lot better, like the variable ND filters. I think you had an ND filter on yours.
Yeah,
it's almost like
$10.
Yeah, it's a cheap upgrade, but it's like basically like putting sunglasses on your camera to where when you're in super sunny outdoor scenarios, the footage doesn't get blown out and look crappy. So
exactly.
Yeah, there's all kinds of little bits that you kind of learn along the way of being a YouTuber.
Yeah.
So we have 13 in the chat right now. It's good. It is a little quiet. If y'all could send in some more questions, we will answer them, or ideas or any statements, because remember, we're trying to fight the Sunday scaries here. I know y'all are all getting nervous about going back to work.
Me too.
All right. Wait, are you going back to work, Kyle?
Yeah, I told you I got a new job.
I didn't know you started already.
Oh, yeah, it started 2 weeks ago.
Okay. Time's flying then for me.
It is.
He lets me ride his bike, so I help. Plus, I get to learn how to actually record not trash content. Dude, your content where you're starting at is so much better than my content where I was starting at, so you're going to be solid. Cool camera, she says.
Thank you.
I'm assuming you're talking about Kyle's because he put it on screen. He does have a cool camera.
Yeah, I like it.
I haven't ridden in California. How about you, Kyle?
Nope, me neither.
I know that the area is littered with trails and bike shops and everything. I really need to get out to the West Coast. I'd like to check out the PNW as well as California and stuff like that. But no, haven't been there. How are those wheels holding up, Jared? They're great. Actually, I've fallen more on my T7 than I did on my DaVinci. No fault of the T7, but this goes back to the wheels. They've gotten thrown sideways and everything, and they're still super true. And they're doing great. So I highly recommend the Session Component wheels.
Pushing the limits there, Jared.
Yeah, I am, apparently. Danny has ridden California, so he could give us some insight on it. Must have. Can't live without trail gear besides the helmet, obvi. Well, thanks to Cobra Kyle, knee pads, he said you need to start riding them. I said, okay, I'll start riding them, and I've gotten in the habit. Kyle, what do you think? What are some must-have? Can't live without bits of trail gear.
I say gloves. I see people ride without gloves, and I'm just like, I have to have them because I get sweaty hands, and I don't like the slipping on the grips and stuff. So just a good pair of gloves.
Yeah, so gloves, I'm actually 50-50 on. I realized after I cut my hand open in Pisgah that I rode through a lot of it gloveless.
Yeah. It's
I don't know,
right?
Yeah. I probably should wear gloves all the time, but sometimes I like the freedom. But I probably should wear it all the time. Other than that, obviously the shoes, I don't want to accidentally wear Vans to the trail and not be able to cling to my pedals properly.
Are you clipping in now?
I am clipping in. I actually have a lot of this gear right near me so I can show you.
Oh, let's see it.
This is my new clipless shoe. It's by Liat. See?
Nice.
Beautiful shoe. Christine actually got me these for our anniversary.
I didn't see cleats on that, so this is clickbait.
No. The cleats are in another box. I'm about to show you.
Okay.
Boom.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm going to rock the Mallet Ease. I decided that I do want to have pins on my clipless pedals. I'm going to keep the retention really low.
Mm-hmm.
That way I kind of feel at home having pins. Like it feels like a flat, but I'm also indexed by the clipless setup. So the cleats are in here in this box.
Gotcha. You got to get them on those shoes.
Yeah, I know. Those pedals literally just showed up yesterday.
Okay. You'll really like it. I know I do.
Fingered gloves for me. I think Cobra's the same.
Same. I wear Liat gloves, actually.
Liat?
Yeah.
Yeah, they have solid gear. I like a lot of the stuff that they're putting out.
Me too.
But yeah, I'm switching to clipless mainly because of the indexing issue. There's been a few times recently where I'm dropping in on what could be a pretty hairy section, and like one of my feet will be at like a 45-degree angle, and because it's those 510 stick, and I can't move it back, and then I'm like I'm dropping in, I'm screwed because my footing's all wonky.
Mm-hmm.
So with clipless, I know that I'm indexed and that everything's going to be perfect, and I like that about it. Mountain Viper says he tried clipless 20 minutes ago at his local trails. Tell us what you thought about it and why you liked it. Because, I think it's the way to go. Another reason is on the climbs, Rudy climbs, chunky climbs, I noticed that my feet like to hop off. Mm-hmm. Cobra could probably attest to some other reasons, or maybe the same reasons why he likes clipless, but he kind of sold me on it.
That's my biggest reason is like if you're smashing through a rock garden going pretty fast, it's one less thing to worry about, like your feet just blowing off the pedals and riding down on your taint, basically. So I like that reassurance. It's nice. Right.
Yeah, I'm the same. I think it's going to be a good switch for me. George is going to peace out and go watch Ratatouille. All right, my brother. Enjoy that. That's a good movie.
Good choice.
It's definitely better than being in this live stream. I
think I'm going to go and watch it too.
Yeah, see y'all later. We're going to go watch Ratatouille. On Crank Brothers, you can get different cleats to make it easier or harder to unclip. I actually just found that out this morning. Yeah, the standard cleats for Crank Brothers are they release at 15 degrees, but you can get a novice cleat that releases at 10. So I may or may not get those. We got a hello from Alana Morgan. That is my mother. Hey, Mom.
Oh, hey, Mom.
Nice of you to show up.
That's cool.
Climbing efficiency and rock gardens. Yep. Yeah, so in Pisgah, I did notice a lot of my feet popping off. I was like, man, I wish I would have gotten myself familiarized with the clipless setup before I came out here, because it would have helped a lot. When you're climbing at Pisgah, you have to climb a double track road, like we discussed before I went, Kyle. And that double track road was eternal. An hour of climbing feels eternal. And when you start getting tired, your cadence gets weird, and like your foot will randomly just hop off the pedal. Mm-hmm. It's just awful.
Was it that horse trail? I'm pretty sure I know exactly which one.
Clawhammer Road.
Yeah. That was miserable.
It was insanely miserable. I've never climbed anything like that. That's why I don't even know if they allow e-bikes in the state park, but I wish
they don't. But I saw people on them, so I don't think it's enforced.
Yeah. So did I. Sorry, dude. You don't have to apologize. Go watch Ratatouille. Let us know how it was. I haven't seen it in a couple years, so I need to know how good it is. Maybe I can watch it again soon. Cameron says he's seen it a million times and still love it. We are fans of Ratatouille here at Cure Cycling. Let's see. It was fun on the uphill. I only fell twice at the trails. I was scared of corners if I needed to put a foot down, but it turned out to be pretty fun. I'll definitely use clips for racing. Yeah, I was a little bit nervous about that too. I have some experience with clipless when it comes to riding road. And one thing I noticed, even on just riding it road, after a while, it's like just natural. You just like kick your foot out and you're out. No, not too big of a big deal. Next time you go to Pisgah or anywhere in NC, I'm in NC, we'll have to ride together. Dude, I was all over the community post telling people, I was like, hey, anyone live in North Carolina? I need a tour. I didn't know where I was going. The good news is next time I go to North Carolina, the gentleman who's next to me on the screen is going to have to go because he bailed on me this time. So
sorry. I would have loved to, but
I'm just messing with you, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully we can ride soon. Like John was saying, he was asking when I'm coming back to Texas. Hopefully soon to see all of y'all. We can just link up and have a good old time.
Wait till the fall, man.
Yeah, no, I will. Last time I was out there was October. It was like pretty even tempered. And it was perfect.
It's good then.
That Mountain Viper takes a bit for it to be second nature. Yeah, Dan. Well, you're just a natural at riding in general, bud.
He is.
Yeah, he downplays his skills a little bit. He's ridiculous. Any other hobbies other than cycling? This is a fun question for me, and then I'll let Cobra answer it as well. I know his answer, though. But yeah, other than cycling, I'm a big fan of Lego. Let me see. Where's my little friend? Where's my friend? There he is. Yeah, can you see him? It's a Lego mountain biker, but it won't focus, unfortunately. It wants to focus on me. But yeah, I'm a fan of Lego. There may be a Lego channel in the future if I decide to make a second channel because I actually really love it. So that's my other hobby. Kyle, how about you?
I like Legos as well.
Wow. Lego and mountain biking, they go together hand in hand. How about
I don't have any on me, but I play music a little bit. It's been I played the guitar the other day. It felt good. It hadn't touched in a while. So I was like, I should try this. So yeah, was a musician for a long time, and now I focus solely on this pretty much.
Yeah.
It's a lot of time.
Sometimes the YouTube and the mountain biking stuff really can suck you in and you forget about other stuff. But I do have other hobbies as well. Go to Fire Mountain in Cherokee. Is that the new bike? It's like a bike park. I heard something about Cherokee that's supposedly pretty sick. Must be that. Dynamite Danny's blushing because we're talking him up. Go mow your lawn. All right, we got a Lego fan in the chat. What's up? What's up? I broke my rib scootering. What? I didn't hear that story.
I have a dirt scooter, and we went to a skate park because we both used to have BMXs for a while, and Dan just couldn't handle the scooter.
Did he try to do something crazy?
No, I guess he went over like a ramp and didn't realize there was like a drop off on the other end, so like the scooter kind of
OTB'd.
Bottomed out, and just kind of like threw him straight to the concrete. And I just kind of like stood there. I was like, "Uh-oh,
guess I better
I'm gonna get sued."
I guess I better go pick my friend up off the concrete.
Yeah, he did. He survived. He's good.
Yeah,
I meant to make a video on that dirt scooter. I bought it years ago to like make a video, and I never did.
Yeah, that's a real niche item. Have we ridden Wisconsin? No, I haven't. Honestly, the furthest north I've been, like in that direction, it's just Bentonville. I gotta get out more. Like I said, when I went to North Carolina, that was probably some of the biggest, gnarliest riding I've ever experienced, and it really opened my eyes. Like I don't know how well I could hang at a place like Whistler. I've got some growing to do as a rider, but I'm thankful that I decided to kind of make this my job because I will grow as a rider. It might just take some time. Mm-hmm. Kyle, how about you? I know you haven't ridden Wisconsin, but have you gone further north than I?
I went to a wedding in Baraboo, Wisconsin, and I went swimming in Devil's Lake, and it was unbelievably gorgeous there. So,
yeah, I imagine the riding is fantastic, but I bet it is.
Yeah, it's nice up there.
He says, "I have so many Lego sets. I'm also a huge car and racing fan. Either of you enjoy racing?" Dude, actually, I do love cars. Before I used to modify mountain bikes, I used to modify cars, and actually, Cobra Kyle's this kind of the same way. He's a bit of a car enthusiast.
Yeah.
When we hang out, he's normally wearing some sort of car T-shirt. So yeah, you're in good company here. I think we could get along on many fronts. Fire Mountain is technically public trails, but the trails have huge berms and wooden features like a bike park. Okay, public trails, nice. Maybe that's where we need to go, Cobra. You want to go back to North Carolina?
I do. I'm ready. I'm ready for another trip, man.
Yeah. Well, my next trip is going to be to you guys because I don't want to rack up too many miles on my gosh darn truck. It is racking up every time I go out. Faster than I've ever dealt with. We've got a car question. How about you go first, Cobra? I got to think about this one. Favorite car? Are we talking about like within reason? Because if it's not within reason, and we're talking about like any car,
cheap,
I'd probably get a Maserati MC12.
I Suzuki SX4 for some reason. Like an all-wheel drive, you can get a 6-speed manual in it. Car that no one cares about. But I'm like, man, that would be kind of a cool.
Is the Suzuki SX4 the little Jeep car?
It's like that little hatchback they made in the 2010 to like 2016 or something like that.
I'll have to look that up.
Yeah, it's not like a cool car. It's just like something I'm like, that would be kind of like fun to make a hot hatchback out of or something. But
yeah,
I don't know.
Okay, he's saying out of reason. So yeah, that
out of reason.
Mine stands. It's the Maserati MC12, which is built on the Ferrari Enzo. It's just a breathtaking car. I would love to own one. I think it's like from like 2004, made in very limited numbers.
Mm-hmm. Dang, I like the Lotus Evoras.
Lotus Evora is a cool car. Favorite car is McLaren 720S. So we have another exotic fan. Mountain Viper says Supra. The new Supra or the old one?
Hopefully the old one.
Yeah, I prefer the older ones, like the 90. What is it? The 94, 95.
Yeah,
those are fresh. Any 400 horsepower EG Civic hatch for me. Gee whiz, that would be a rocket ship. Aston Martin, another exotic fan. He says old for the Supra. My man.
Good.
My man's got taste. All right, y'all keep the questions rolling in. Otherwise, me and Cobra will continue to just kind of shoot the breeze here for what looks like only about 3 minutes. So an hour goes fast. I appreciate everybody coming in. That's really cool. Lucas says 350Z. That's a pretty modest dream car. That's very attainable.
Yeah, it is.
If I actually considered one for a little bit. I thought about getting the Nismo version because those are really sick.
Those are nice.
Yeah. Actually, I don't think I've owned any Japanese cars. Kind of missing out in that regard. Never had a JDM car.
Oh, I pretty much only drive Japanese cars except the van now.
I know, and you hate your van for a little bit. It's giving you issues.
Well, I think it's fixed now. Like the battery died again, and I took it to the dealer this time, and they're just like, "Oh yeah, the battery's bad." And I was like, "That's odd," because it said some warning thing about the ignition switch. So I don't know.
Maybe it's legit
working.
Great.
Yeah, I hope so.
I hope so too, because those are pretty. As far as I know, both the Sprinter and whatever it's called, the Transit, the big Transit and the small Transits are very reliable. Christine wants to know, is Cobra watching anything cool on Netflix right now?
The last show we watched was this show called Review that was on Comedy Central that nobody really knows about, but it's hysterical.
He likes the funnies.
Yeah, and we watched Manifest as well. I don't know if a lot of people have been talking about that. It was interesting.
Yeah, we thought about watching it, but as she has stated, we are working on The Witcher, finally catching up on The Witcher.
I know Jenna likes The Witcher.
Yeah. Well, I think any girl's going to like The Witcher. The main character
shirtless.
is very handsome man.
She makes me keep my shirt on at all times, but she'll watch The Witcher and just lose her mind about it.
Oh my goodness.
I'm kidding. I don't know if she's watching this.
She might be.
Yeah, I hope so.
We got some people talking about the Honda Element.
I
think they're cool. I would want to body match all that plastic personally, but I know some people like that raw look. They're cool. Personally, right now, I'm really loving my Nissan Frontier. That's been the best car, truck, whatever, best vehicle I've ever owned. It is so good. So
did you see the new Frontier coming out?
I did. I actually knew it was coming, and that's why I went ahead and got the current model, because I like simplicity. I don't have, some crazy 9-speed transmission. It's just I think a 4 or 5. It's a workhorse, man. It's not the most fancy, but it'll run forever.
Nice.
All right, so we're at an hour here. We'll take a couple extra minutes if any other questions are coming through for me or Cobra Kyle. Otherwise, we will go ahead and close this out. So we will go to, I guess, 1 hour and 2 minutes. That gives you guys 1 minute and 30 to get any last minute questions in.
Let's just do an extra hour.
An extra hour. Bonus hour.
Bonus hour. It's going to get weird.
Dynamite Danny says he's about to get a van soon. Just seems practical. With the lifestyle that you're starting to conduct for yourself, I would agree. Danny's doing a lot of like camping and stuff like that. The vans are perfect. Thoughts on EMTB? Yes. I said this at the beginning of the chat. I would absolutely get an EMTB, and it would probably be my main steed if I could get my hands on one. What are your thoughts, Kyle?
I'm on the fence. Like, I like them. I don't dislike them. The couple issues that come up with me is once you get one, all your friends kind of have to, if you want to ride with anyone. I've been noticing that about like some other bikes. Like, I bought a gravel bike, and then I was like, well, none of my friends ride gravel bikes. So I'm like slower on the trails and then faster on the street. And then I think it would be the same with an e-bike. But other than that, yes, I would totally enjoy one.
I'm all for it. When I was at Canuga, like I said, it's a bike park. You want to focus on the descents at the bike park and for it to be like max fun. But the climb at Canuga was wearing me out to where I wasn't having max fun doing my runs. So like the e-bike would have saved me there. I don't think that the e-bike is for the lazy per se, like a lot of people will project. I think it's just for people that prioritize descending would be interested in an e-bike because they just kind of blast uphill and then enjoy multiple descents.
But think about if you went to Canuga with all your friends and you're the only one that has an e-mountain bike, and it's like,
bye guys.
It's like you're kind of riding alone anyway. So it's like, you gotta make e-friends. Or
you could just like, set the boost up hardcore or whatever and just keep a really slow pace. I don't know. I think you could figure it out, but maybe I'm dead wrong.
Probably.
Mountain Viper asks, how long have you both been riding? I started riding seriously as a mountain biker in 2017 when I bought a Diamondback Sinker. I was a big fan of Seth. That's when I started. But I was riding bikes forever. I used to do a lot of street BMX. Cobra, how about you?
I'd say first mountain bike was 2012. I took a break from it for a little bit and came back in like 2016, 2017-ish.
2016, 2016. So you've been riding a lot longer than me. A lot longer.
Yeah. I mean, I've always kind of ridden bikes, like you said, but I did like some road biking for a while and some other stuff. So I like all kinds of bikes.
Danny's on the e-bike train. Yes, they are sick. What? You went to Canuga too? Yes, dude. I went to Canuga. Video comes out on Wednesday. Make sure to check that one out. It tells a story. Is it worth upgrading a shock without a lockout if it is working fine? My opinion, I wouldn't. But I do. I kind of understand it. I mean, if you're like running a lot of uphills, like at a place like Canuga, and you need that efficiency often, maybe it would be a worthy upgrade. There's going to be a lot of people offloading shocks like a RockShox Deluxe Select and shocks like that because people don't think shocks without piggybacks are cool. So those are often for sale pretty cheap on eBay used. Your thoughts, Cobra?
I've never used a lockout, so I wouldn't ride.
I use mine at Canuga.
I ride hardtails a lot too, so maybe that's.
Yeah, so I guess it just depends, Lucas. Danny says he doesn't use his lockout either. I use it sometimes, but there's a problem with that. There have been times where I used it to get to the top of a hill and then forgot to turn it off for the descent, and it gets really hairy. So, and they're a blessing and a curse.
Right.
Interestingly enough, we're at an hour and 4 minutes. We're 2 minutes past the time we said we would leave, and I have more people in the chat now than ever.
Right.
So I don't know what to say about this. Cobra, you want to go give them a 10-minute extension, or are you ready to sign out?
I'm fine with that. I guess you got to start these at 7 now.
Yeah, maybe so. Maybe we'll start later next time. That way more people can get in here. But we're kind of just piloting it, seeing how things go. But we're gonna run it a little bit longer and see what goes on in here. Mountain Viper says, we need to go to Canoga on September 30th and rent an e-bike. I'm going on my birthday, and I'm getting an e-bike rental on that day. It'd be sick. Dude, that would be sick if I could get back out there. We'll see. That's kind of short notice. But I did have a good time, and I guess a lot of people must have been renting the e-bikes because there were a lot of people on them. I would be climbing up the hill just to go to Tortuga, which is halfway up the mountain. I'd get passed by a couple on e-bikes. They'd drop in. I see them having a ton of fun. I'm still climbing, and then they pass me again. That's how quickly they were moving. It's
how much elevation was that there?
Canoga's a 500-foot mountain, I believe.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, it's not super tall, but the climb's about a mile and a quarter, and it's not like the one claw hammer. You know, it's not easy peasy. It gets steep. It gets rooty, it gets windy, so it's a legit like single track climb. You know what I mean?
Interesting. Yeah.
Night, guys, time to go mow. Okay, you better go actually mow this time, Danny. He must have an electric lawnmower. He said the battery was dead.
Yeah.
Well, I guess in 10. Nope, he's not leaving.
All right, good.
I got the double lockout by Fox.
Double
lockout. I'm not familiar with that. You heard of that, Cobra?
I haven't. Maybe
or maybe it's like
once.
Yeah, maybe it's where the lockout
lever
activates both in one. Yeah.
Yeah. I might remember it then if I had a lever to use.
Yeah. I've never had used a remote lockout of any sort. Anytime I bought a fork that came remote lockout equipped, I never stuck it on.
Yeah.
Just makes the cockpit a little too busy for me. Noah says, "Hello, it's me." Hello, Noah.
Hey, Noah.
I'm glad you're here. I know who you are. He's pretty consistent to the channel. Nice to see you, buddy.
Nice. Cool.
I saw a little bit. Wears me out just watching. I did not watch mountain biking in the Olympics. Cobra, how about you?
I did a little bit. I watched the highlights on YouTube, and I got to give credit to cross country mountain bikers. Like, I know they're the butt of many jokes, but it's kind of insane what they do. Just like
no, it really is.
Riding at peak efficiency, and they actually had like a pretty sizable drop in the Olympics, and none of them were, I mean, not all of them, but a lot of them didn't have a dropper post. So they're actually like hitting this drop with their seat way up.
Yeah.
I was like, man, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I agree. They ride some hairy, sketchy stuff for for being just in Lycra, basically having your entire body exposed to get destroyed by the terrain. I have a lot of respect for them too. Yeah. And I mean, a lot of these people that do cross country are still great riders and can run park laps and do jumps just like anyone else. It's just that they make their money doing cross country. You know, that's their career. Tour Fire Mountain. Okay. Yeah, you have a deal, dude. I'm telling you, I needed a tour guide when I went to Pisgah and Canoga, and I couldn't find anyone.
A fellow snake.
That's right.
Mountain Viper. Yeah.
Didn't even know there was MTB in the Olympics. Yeah, I knew, but I didn't watch it, unfortunately. I'm kind of bad when it comes to keeping up with sports.
Did you hear about that guy that crashed in the Olympics because that drop I was talking about? They had like a wooden bridge during practice for them to like roll down, and then they removed it for the race.
So he's just waiting for it, and he just boom.
He just went over the bars, and
that's nasty.
Yeah, that's dirty. The Olympics.
Yeah, might as well not even do that. Okay, so it was new this year, the cross country racing. That's a good thing to add. I mean, mountain biking is taking off worldwide. That's a fact. What's worse than XC bikers is Strava MTB riders. You know, it's funny you say that. I've given up on Strava myself. I don't flack anybody for doing it because I kind of understand. You might want to know how many miles you ride or whatever, especially for like maintenance on your bike. But it's just one other thing I have to think about. And as considering most of my rides, I have to film them. I don't mess with Strava anymore. I'm pretty sure Cobra has a similar sentiment.
Yeah, it's not worth it to me. I'm not racing or anything.
I didn't know there was mountain bike in the Olympics. Yeah, there's a few people saying that. Yeah, like Cameron says, it must be new this year. So it is an Olympic sport. Now we know. Got to go. IG is mountain_Viper. You can contact. All right, sounds good, buddy. We'll see you around. Have a good night. Is there DH on the Olympics? I don't think so.
I think it's just the cross country.
They're missing out on that. That would be some drama. That's something that I keep up with sometimes. Is I'll watch some of the downhill circuits.
Yeah.
Because those courses are mental. And the way that these guys have to navigate them is incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, he says no DH. So, yeah, that is confirmed. Not an Olympic sport. Not yet. All right. We're at an hour and 10. We have 17 in the chat, which is about the median. That's about where we've been all night. So I think we might actually close it out soon, assuming that no one else has any important questions.
They're all important.
Yeah, they are all important. We want to answer everybody. We want everyone to have their voice heard here in the channel.
Did you hit that gap yet, Jared, that I asked you to?
No.
Mm-mm. No?
I haven't been on Cortez Coaster. The whole trail ride's dirty. It's it's rutted out really bad. It needs a lot of maintenance. Like
you get a lot of rain too.
Constant rain, and all those berms are. I mean, even though the clay is native, it's not meant to be on that side of the hill.
Right.
Got 10 minutes for me to jump in. Yeah, dude. I gave you the link. Yeah, come on in. We'll stay on for 10 minutes to let you in. Get in here. Where is he? Boom. Yeah, get in here. Trail Talk MTB, everybody. This is one of the other guests that I sent the link to. He said he was probably wouldn't be able to make it, but apparently he can.
And he has a fantastic accent.
Yeah. Super, super handsome young man with a stellar foreign accent. Just a lady slayer. But yeah, he is a really great YouTuber. If y'all have seen his content, he does a lot of videos similar to Cobra Kyle, the list videos that I have yet to endeavor into. Very challenging for me to commit to something like that, but both of these guys have done it, and they've done it well.
Thank you.
You got one that's got $500,000 now, huh?
It's like 350,000.
Yeah, it's getting there.
Yeah, it's pretty shocking.
It's probably almost time to do another one.
It's just me sitting in this room talking about bikes and.
Yeah, but there's a lot of planning that goes into those types of videos.
There is. Yeah.
And a lot of commitment, to sit there and dissect all these spec sheets for, like you said, for other people that aren't really interested in doing it. That takes a lot of work. The biggest
commitment with those videos is the comments afterwards, because
it's a full-time
they're constant. And it's always like, what about this bike? I'm like, well, if it was that good, I would have put it on the list. And that's basically my sentiment.
Yeah, exactly.
I did a lot of research, so I'm like, well, these are just my 5 favorite. You can make your own opinion in a sense.
For sure. I'm going to leave his comment here as exactly, almost as like a way to make him feel convicted for even asking
him. Yeah.
Get in here, boy.
Maybe he meant in 10 minutes he'll jump in.
Got 10 minutes for me to jump in. Well, yeah, I mean, we can stall for 10 minutes and talk about whatever. I don't care.
Yeah, I got nowhere to be.
Me neither. Why not?
I work remote now, so this is my office too.
So are you still there? He is. He's coming in. You still doing curated? Slowing it down.
I want to get comfortable with my full-time job first, and then once I am, I sold a bike last week just because I get the people through YouTube, and someone messaged me and he just like instantly bought the bike. He's like, what do you think of this? Like, yeah, it's cool. Here's a link. And he bought it. I was like, okay.
Sick. All right. So we've got Phil from Trail Talk MTB joining the chat. What is up, dude?
Can you see and hear me well?
I can see and hear.
Perfect. Yeah.
It's
awesome. Yeah. No, good. Finally feeling a bit better now. So yeah, been sick for the past week and a half.
Oh, were you? I didn't know that.
Yeah, no, had some time off, but feeling better now, so it's all good.
Fantastic, dude. Yeah. So what time is it where you're at?
It is 10:15. So
in the morning.
In the morning, yeah.
Oh,
so
nice.
Pretty early.
Yeah, right on. So what's going on in your world? I know you said that you were moving into a new spot. Are you all situated?
Yes, I finally moved in. So moved up from Sydney to Brisbane. So
okay. Does that put you closer to the trails?
But yeah, a lot more. There's a lot more legal trails up here, so it's a lot more smooth, a lot more machine-built stuff. There is some more janky stuff, but you need to travel probably a little bit more to get it. But it's just, I think mountain biking is a lot more culture up here, whereas Sydney it's a lot more of a niche kind of thing, individual kind of communities. Whereas here it's just there's so many people that ride. I think it's more accessible here, so I think that's why a lot more people do it.
Look at this, Phil. You're up.
It'll be out probably in the next 2 weeks, I'd say. So if you're too familiar, I've taken a break for probably like 6 months off YouTube. I dropped only like my Cis QT review, so I've been off for a while. But yeah, get back into it. I just kind of trying to figure out working at the moment as well. So I don't know if a lot of the people in the chat know, but I also work for Bikes Online, so that's kind of my other gig. So I help out with a lot of the YouTubers and stuff like that with bikes and yes, kind of managing socials and marketing and that kind of stuff like that as well. So
he's a busy man.
Yeah, doing a bit of everything. So yeah, once a bit more settled now, so I'm building up the studio this week. So
I was about to ask because you had a beautiful little setup where you were at with the teal lights and the logo.
So we've got my workbench, got a nice tool wall, so I bought all new tools so I can put that up and then have some nice lights and then all the bikes hanging on the wall, so it should be good. And then also be filming a few build videos and how-tos for Bikes Online and that kind of stuff like that too in there. So because I can't travel down to Sydney at the moment, so if you aren't too familiar here, we've got lockdowns kind of around Australia depending on what's happening with COVID. Because
I heard that y'all have like a radius that you can adhere to, like
So it's kind of like, obviously we went for more of, I guess, a kind of like full island, kind of like trying to kind of keep it out kind of technique. So now that the Delta variant's here, it's spreading a lot quicker than they thought. So it's kind of like patch lockdowns until we get to enough vaccinations, and then everyone can kind of, once we get to I think 80%, then they're like, you can do what you want kind of thing. Cool. So they're just trying to stop the spread at the moment. But Sydney's, it doesn't look like they're probably going to be able to go out of lockdown until they kind of get the quantity that they want.
Well, I hope they get it all sorted, man.
Because it'd be nice to be able to go down and go to the office every now and then, because that was the plan. But
All right, so Danny's asking, I guess we'll take turns on this. And what was y'all's most favorite bike you have ever reviewed? Wow, I guess I'll start with this one. Prior to my T, I really love the T7. Blew my mind because it was a lot more bike than I thought it would be. But prior to that, my favorite bike that I had reviewed was actually that Orbea Occam. I just found it to be a very well-rounded bike. My only gripe for the Orbea Occam, though, was the brakes. And actually, we found a hack that I'd like to share with you guys. This applies to you guys in the live stream with me. If you are riding a bike with MT201 brakes, you can marry the MT500 Deore levers to it, no problem, and it makes the brakes 10 times better. So we tried that on an Occam, and it worked very well. Cobra, favorite bike?
This is going to be a controversial one, but the Walmart e-bike. Just because, I mean, there's like, every bike now is so good. It's just fun to review one that is absolute trash. And it's just so much easier to write like a script that's like funny and enjoyable to listen to about something that you're just like, this isn't good.
That's hilarious. How about you, Phil?
It's been a few. I've really, like, it comes down to, I think, I've really ridden a lot of bikes, but one of like the Siski T8 really kind of like gelled with my riding style, because I mean, I've always ridden enduro bikes before that, so all my friends were on bigger bikes and we were riding bigger terrain at the point in Sydney, and it was nice having a bigger bike. But whenever I went on trails that I really enjoyed, I couldn't really make the most of it, because every time I wanted to pop off something and stuff like that, you just feel bogged down. And so I'd probably say the T8 and the Marin Rift Zone are probably my two. I mean, they're such similar bikes, like the geometry is identical. I'm surprised that Pink Bike found that much difference between them when they did their review, and they're saying like how they were such different bikes. I'm like, the geometry, like they were saying, like I think the Rift Zone felt a bit more XC and a bit more nervous and stuff like that. I'm like, it's pretty much, I mean, they're made in the same factory, and it's pretty much like the same geometry. The suspension is a little bit different, like obviously the leverage curve's a little bit different, but they're very, very similar bikes. The T8's a little bit more forgiving because it's just got an extra 10 mil of travel, but they're such similar bikes. So, but other than that, probably my Bird AM9, which a lot of people wouldn't know about that brand. But it's been really well reviewed in the UK and Bike Radar. I've done a lot of reviews and stuff like that. And that's kind of a 150, 160 mil bike, and it was just so, like, it just plowed over everything and was just so confident on that bike. Like,
shred sled. as they call
it was amazing. So yeah, if you're looking for an enduro bike, that's definitely one up there that I really recommend. And then there's the high pivot stuff as well. That
seems to be taking over the enduro market. I haven't ridden any high pivot bikes, but I'm very keen on trying one soon. It'd be cool. So we have another question for Phil. What happened to Vander review?
The Vander review? Well, they're kind of all sold out now, so it was kind of pointless having the review up for a bike that doesn't exist anymore. I didn't want people, because I do review a lot of Polygon bikes and stuff like that, so I didn't want people always asking questions about it and stuff like that, and it was a one-off bike, so it's discontinued now. So it's kind of, I don't want people to like find that and then look for the bike and then like kind of expect then it's gone now. So it's kind of
the Vander was created to fill a gap in the pandemic, wasn't it?
Exactly. So Polygon had extra production capacity. They had the frames and stuff like that. So they're just like, well, we've got the frames here. We might as well make them available for everyone, because everyone just couldn't find an entry-level bike.
Yeah.
So they're just like, yeah, we'll manufacture some, and a lot of people are really enjoying them. So it's good that they were able to get a bike in the pandemic when they needed it most. So
sure.
I think that was pretty cool.
So one common denominator that just through our conversation about favorite bikes that we reviewed, and just what I know everyone's riding, it kind of seems that we all are enjoying bikes that kind of fall in that mid-travel range, like 140-ish up front, 130-ish in back. Would you say that is the all-arounder best MTB experience in your experience?
Yeah. Well, I think it's just everyone sees enduro like plus in front of their face, and they think more travel is better, when it's whatever travel is right for you. Like, I think if you're still, even like you've been riding for a long time, you're an intermediate to advanced rider, but you're not necessarily, I think there's that level when you start like really attacking the trail, and then you're like pre-hopping everything and just like slamming into rocks and just like trying to go down as fast as you can. That's when I'm like, yeah, you should probably get an enduro bike, because you're justifying it. And if you're doing big hucks and stuff like that, of like, well, it'd be like 9-foot drops and stuff like that. But I found like, I'm just kind of like riding the trail as it is. Yeah, I have a bit of fun, but I'm not really trying to like bomb down everything. And I think a trail bike does be fine, especially with how good geometry is these days. I just don't think you need much more than 130, 140 mil travel. It just takes the fun out of riding.
I would agree. Kyle, your thoughts?
Yeah, I feel the same way, because like I was saying earlier about the Elroy, like it's cool, but it's just like way too much for half the stuff I get to ride where I live. So I'm all for shorter travel, a little more efficient bike.
Yeah, I think what made me realize it is in 2018, I owned a Kona Process 153. I just kind of had that bike on a pedestal in my mind for whatever reason. So I decided to purchase it. And it kind of goes back to what Phil was saying. Like, you go to hit these, jumps and lips and stuff like that, and you do feel bogged down. You just dive into that deep travel, and it just pretty much soaks it up. And it's like, it wasn't very poppy. And then when I started going into the lower travel bikes, the 150, 140s, the 140, 130s, they really came alive for me. So I think that was the way to go. We got some more questions rolling in. Thoughts on gearbox bikes? I haven't ridden one. I like the idea of it on paper, that it's low maintenance and that it kind of changes the center of gravity, moves it over to the bottom bracket, just like an e-bike. But I don't really know how it is how it is like when you actually ride it. Have y'all ridden a gearbox bike?
Nope.
No. Like, I do I think it's almost to the point like, yeah, they adds a bit of weight and stuff like that, but the way that like lightweight e-bikes like kind of tracking, like you can get them for like 18 kilos. I'm like, if your bike's gonna weigh like 17 kilos, you might as well just get a lightweight. Have a like something just to give you a little. But I do find it cool that like if you've got like really tricky technical climbs, like I like the fact that you can go to the gear like without having to pedal, and then you set up straight for that climb, you can hammer it down. But yeah, unless they kind of like figure out a way to put it in the motor for an e-bike, like I just don't see it getting mass adoption on regular bikes.
I do know that Shimano has a pretty big patent that they set up for a gearbox maybe a year ago. But that info kind of leaked, but I don't know if they're ever going to do anything with it. I mean, people file patents all the time. That doesn't mean they're going to make it. But I think it's a cool idea. I always like to see people push the boundaries as far as tech. Cobra, you got any comments on gearboxes?
I want to try one. I reached out to a company about reviewing one, and they were kind of receptive, but it came to the point where it's like a $6,000 hardtail
Woo!
Essentially, just because it had a gearbox. I'm like,
Yeah.
Was it a
I
opinion?
don't really cater to that kind of market, I guess. Like, no one
Yeah.
is going to
It's
be like,
just
oh, that's a
unrealistic
great
for the
deal.
general consumer.
But I'd love to try one.
Yeah, it's kind of it's definitely a dentist type of thing.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
100%.
All right, Phil's getting a lot of love. Question: have you done the Siskiyou T7?
So I haven't ridden it extensively. I've just gone on one pedal like around, and like it's tough to say because like I really like the Super Deluxe shock on the T7.
I'm saying.
Like the Fox, like obviously it takes like I had to put a 0.8 spacer versus the 0.4 from factory, which for a lot of people buying like the Siskiyou T series, like they might not necessarily be super confident doing that kind of stuff like that. So like I think it's good that the T7 comes up like from factory, like you don't need to change the spacers at all. It's pretty much set from factory and it's dialed. I think it feels like the bike definitely feels from factory a lot poppier on the T7 than it does the T8 until you put the spacers in.
I think in general the Fox is more linear. Like I find that Fox suspension is more linear out the box anyway. The rock stuff just tends to be a little bit more progressive, but that's just my opinions.
Yeah, and I don't think if you're not too concerned about weight, I think for a lot of people the T7 is a great place to start because, I mean, it's just a fork away really from the T8. Like, because the shock's pretty comparable, drivetrain, you got the same amount of range. It's just a bit lighter with the SLX on the T8. And then the brakes, you just get the the 2 piston in the rear instead of 4 piston front and rear. You just got the 4 piston up front on the T7. So really, it's so close. Like I wouldn't be upset like if I got the T7 and then just put a better fork in it later. Like that price difference is pretty much covered in the difference of the bikes. So I think I would be. I mean, to be honest, like there's a lot of people like, oh, I don't necessarily like the color on the T8. It's just like, well, just get the T7 and then you can upgrade the fork later.
Yeah,
like,
with the money you save, you could do like the Z2 or something.
Yeah, exactly.
And they'd be on par with each other.
Yeah, I've got a Z2 for the subscriber bike that I need to build up. But I've also got a D7 that I'm going to be riding for a while as well. So I'll probably put that on the D7 to see how capable that bike as well. So it'll be interesting going from like I want to test out like a shorter reach again, kind of going from the 480 on the Siskiyou T to the 465 on the D7. Just going back because I think it's almost like when I am on like a fast bike, like I do enjoy that longer reach, but when I'm just messing around, like the trails are a bit flatter here, a bit more pedally, like I think I will enjoy that slightly shorter reach, which I mean, still 465 was considered long like 4 years ago. So
when will they stop is the question.
Yeah. And I think
someone asks, go ahead.
Yeah, I think it really comes down. I think it's good that there's such a variety in geometry these days because I mean, like I think it was Jack Moyer who rides for Canyon. He was talking about this the other day where he kind of like if you know the trails that you ride, then you can kind of get away with a super progressive bike that's longer because you kind of know where the G-outs are. You can set up for the corners a bit easier because you've got obviously a longer bike. It's harder to get around the tighter corners. So you know exactly where you need to go. But all these people in the EWS, like a lot of them are riding slightly shorter bikes because they can handle a shorter bike at speed. That's not an issue for them. They're pretty confident on their bike. They're riding corners that they've never seen before. They only get to ride the trail once, so it's easy for them to set up. And he was going back and forth. He's like, oh, I actually prefer the steeper bike that has a shorter reach. Right. So I think, if you know your trails and you got to ride them fast, then I think a long bike's fine. But if you're riding a lot of different trails, I think something that's obviously modern, but not like
a little bit more nimble.
Yeah.
So Lucas is asking about coil shocks. I can give a little bit of input on that. I'll see what the other guys have to say. The only bike I've ever ridden that had a coil shock was a Ripmo AF coil. It had the DVO. I think it's called the Jade. That was super plush, super traction-y. The coils are interesting. They are very different from air. Like you definitely feel planted. But I didn't ride it long enough to say whether I have a preference or not. The only reason why I haven't ridden a coil on any of my personal bikes is that I don't really fully understand the idea of like what spring rate to buy, and I don't want to mess that up and have to buy multiple springs, so I just stay out of it. Cobra, how about you?
I've personally never used one. I'd like to, but same thing. Like I was like, I don't know what spring rate to get because I'll mess it up, of course. And
I feel like I do the same.
Yeah, I mean, I've ridden like the really cheap coil forks, but you know.
Hard to say.
Those.
Hard to compare.
Yeah. Right.
Phil?
Yeah. This will be my last question. I get back to work, but
You're good,
I would say so. I've ridden a fair few, and if the trails are super janky and loose, and heaps of square edge hits, then I think it's great. But I think the vast majority of people, I think you're going to get a much more efficient, fun setup with an air shock, and the air shocks are so sensitive these days that it's to the point that, you do notice that kind of first third of the stroke on a coil is like butter. You just feel so smooth. But I think if you set up air shocks pretty well these days, how good they are, I don't think you're necessarily missing out too much. I think it is more of a comfort thing. You're still getting really good traction with most air shocks these days anyway.
Yeah, I think a lot of people buy coil because of the look, honestly.
Yeah.
They look cool. But yeah, if you have any other comments on the coil shock, Phil, go ahead, my man. I'm sorry if I cut you off.
Yeah, no, it's I think when the trails in Sydney where I used to ride was very ledgy sandstone, really loose, and it was really good because the climbs, we didn't really race up the climbs. It was just plodding along. You didn't really care, and then the descents was just there was not much flow there, so you didn't really notice the benefit too much of having the air shock. So a lot of people are running coils. But yeah, I think, and reliability wise, I think I've had a bit better reliability with a coil, but saying that, I haven't had much reliability of mountain bike components is nowhere near where it should be. I find there's way too many issues with especially suspension, just all the time. But I think, but no, I had a coil fork, the MRP coil for a while.
The ribbon coil?
Yeah, which...
That's a cool fork. I've never ridden one, though.
The air, I did not get along with at all. It's probably one of the most negative reviews I've had on my channel. But it was... but I really enjoyed the coil. But at the point, it was just it weighs 300 grams more than a 36 air and a Lyric air. And the performance wasn't much different. And then those forks are stiffer as well. So it was kind of you're not really getting much performance out of it. So I was
sure.
I'll just go back to a 36 and a Lyric.
Yeah, I really like the Lyric. 36 I like as well. But lately I've been really feeling the RockShox stuff. Cool, man.
Do I got to head off? I was nice
all right, man.
Seeing you guys in the chat, answering
questions. Awesome for you to join in. I really appreciate it, brother. I'll see you soon.
And I'll be back on YouTube, hopefully, within the next week and a half.
Fantastic. We'll be waiting for it, man. We'll be tuning in.
See you guys. Great having a chat.
Yeah, for sure. Take care.
See ya. Bye.
All right, so we are winding down here. I think we're pretty much done. We got about 12 in the chat, so it's starting to dwindle down. That's the word I'm looking for.
Yeah,
it's starting to dwindle down. So we will let everyone go and close it out. Cobra, thanks so much for showing up as always. Yeah, I'm going to mention that the ride is a cure, and thank you guys for showing up. It means a lot. Cobra, you want to drop your line in here? You might as well.
Stay rowdy within reason.
Perfect.
Everyone.
That's it. Now we can all leave happily now that the one-liners have been dropped. So y'all take care. Thanks again, Kyle, and thanks to everybody who showed up. It's been rad. See ya.